All right, a second way to create a parabola is to fit it into a rectangular shape when we don't have the directrix and we don't have the focus. So here, I'll just draw a rectangular shape. Let's draw a shape that's, let's just go 3.5 tall by 7 long. No, let's use a different number. Let's go 9 long. Okay, and then we'll go back up 3.5 and we'll close that off. And now let's kind of zoom in on that. And now what we want to do is lay out the parabola shape based on what I call or refer to as the rule of squares. We're going to take half of the base. I'm going to use my break command, and I'm going to break this object with the first point of the break being at the midpoint, and I'm just going to break the whole right half of it away, and now we've just got half of that line. Excuse me. Now what I'm going to do is divide that line into, let's say 5, just a number. Okay, whoops. Let's divide this object, I do that backwards every time, by 5, or into 5 different segments. And now we've got that divided into 5. We're going to divide the rise into the square of 5. So I'm going to divide again, and I'm going to divide this object by the square of 5, or 25. And we've got a whole series of points. And now I'm going to use my point tool just to illustrate that the first point of the parabola, or the lowest point of the parabola, is right there. And what I've got to do is come over 1 and then up the square of 1, and there'll be a point right there. And then I'll come over 2 and up the square of 2, or 4, and there'll be a point right there. So on and so forth until we get to the 5th spot over and the 25th spot up, and we'll be fine. Now what I'll do is I will zoom in a little bit, and then I'll use my regen command, which will kind of make those points a little bit smaller, a little bit less obtrusive to look at. And I'm just going to draw lines up from here just to make it a little bit easier. I'll just draw a vertical line. And then I'll copy that from this node or endpoint to this node. I've got my node running object snap going so that I can easily snap to each of these. And now I'll just use my point command, and again I'll be going over 1 and up 1. So I'll just acquire that and come straight across to there, and we're up there. So there's that one. Now I'm going to go with my point command and go over 2 and then up the square of 2, or 4. I'll acquire that and come sliding over. And there we go. And now I'm going to be over 3 and up 9. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'll come over from there to right there. And then 4 and 16. And rather than starting at 0 again, I'll just know that that's 9. So we'll go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we'll come over to there. And then our last point would be right up at that point. Now, what I'll do is, rather than do all of that again, I will just mirror each of these points. And I missed that one. Each of these points around the first point of the parabola over here. And I'll just grab my spline command and draw my spline through each of those nodes or points. And there, I'll put that on the object layer so it stands out a little bit. And there is our parabola inside of a rectangular shape.